And welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We're taking a look here at the markets. Dow Jones, you are seeing up 170 points in the green, almost hitting session highs there for the day. We'll take a look at it in the final hour of trading coming up. Hi, everyone. Mike Page here. Thanks again for joining us on Live Now from Fox. We are keeping an eye on the White House. There is a podium set up just in case any White House officials will be speaking. We'll bring that to you if it does happen. But in the meantime, I do want to take you out to Capitol Hill right now. This is a Senate hearing looking back on President Biden's border policies. Let's listen in on Live Now.
To have their day in court, the very essence of due process, but they neglected to show up. Another false narrative is that ICE is not targeting the worst of the worst criminals. But the fact of the matter is that as we speak, there are 291,141 criminal aliens in the United States today who have final orders of removal. Just this morning in the Senate Judiciary Committee, a comment was made that ICE is targeting gardeners. Well, 291,141 criminal aliens who are under final orders of removal are still in the United States. For this fiscal year alone, 213,279 criminal aliens with final orders of removal already have convictions, while 78,546 have pending criminal charges. Even more disturbing is the fact that 282,194 of these criminal aliens are still roaming free and not in ICE custody yet. There are many criminal aliens in the United States continuing to commit heinous crimes, even to this day. Some of these criminals are part of transnational criminal networks and organized gangs. All you need to do is look at the posters in this room to see some of the worst criminals ICE has apprehended recently: murderers, rapists, pedophiles, and sex traffickers. One of our witnesses here today, Sheriff Roy Boyd, can attest to the types of crimes he sees, even in Goliad, the Texas county with a population of less than 8,000. The Friday before the July the 4th weekend, Sheriff Boyd's officers arrested a 29-year-old Iranian national who entered the United States illegally, not once, but twice. The first time this criminal committed a violent aggravated felony in Indiana, and while he was charged for the crime, he received a suspended sentence in exchange for his removal from the United States. But his crime spree did not end there. Despite being deported, he returned.
Hey there, Detroit. Thanks so much for joining us today on this July 22nd. I'm your host, Bree Teamer, and you're watching Fox 2 Detroit live at 3.
Live from the Fox 2 Newsroom, this is Fox 2 Detroit.
Well, a fun night out turns violent for two same-sex couples confronted and assaulted outside MGM Casino. Police are now calling it a hate-fueled attack. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch has all the details.
Watching her lay there on the ground, I thought she was dead 100%.
These pictures show the aftermath of what's being described as an alleged hate crime, a vicious attack outside the MGM Grand Casino in Detroit 2 weekends ago. Celia Houter is still nursing a severe concussion.
When I'm alone, it's very hard, especially at night. I don't know, I guess you would classify that as trauma.
Celia and her wife are with another same-sex couple waiting on the valet at the casino when they say they were approached by two men who were obviously drunk and slinging homophobic slurs, some of the encounter caught on their cell phone camera.
So why'd you walk up on him?
He's pretty dumb, I'm sorry, whatever she or he is.
I want to say that the reason why he did come to us and try to, start stuff with us is because they were holding hands and we were holding hands.
The verbal assault then escalated, turning into a violent one when one of the suspects, now identified as 26-year-old William Wilson, allegedly began punching Celia over and over, eventually knocking her out. Some 24 stitches needed to sew up her wounds.
I asked for help, and nobody came out to help. After she was already hit, she's laying on the ground bleeding. I'm screaming for help. No help was offered.
That suspect from Texas now facing hate crime and assault charges, but is out on bond. The other man with him at the time remains on the run. The incident scarring the couples both physically and mentally.
We never really thought we would be the people that it would happen to, but you never know. And unfortunately now it has made us to a point where we don't want to go anywhere.
Again, both of those couples are very concerned about the MGM Grand Casino's response to all of this. Now, we did reach out to the casino. They referred us to the Detroit Police Department, who confirmed they are investigating the matter. Reporting from downtown Detroit, I'm Robin Murdoch, Fox 2 News.
Well, Taylor police could use your help locating a gunman after a teenager was killed over the weekend. Officers say the 14-year-old boy was gunned down on Pine Street near the Meyer store on Eureka. It happened around 9 o'clock Saturday night. The Ecor School District identifying the victim as Trey Kimber, who was getting ready to start high school in the fall. The shooting may have stemmed from an ongoing beef between two groups. Taylor police urging anyone who may know something to speak up. Well, a Detroit man is recovering in the hospital after security video shows him being struck by a DDOT bus. And this afternoon, his mother is speaking out. 21-year-old Tawan Smith was hit last week near Warren Avenue and Junction. He suffered multiple serious injuries requiring hospitalization. Police say the bus driver is now on leave as the investigation continues. Smith's mother, Shakira Cooper, is demanding answers and has hired an attorney.
We trust in the city. We got to do better. This is becoming the city that everybody's been wanting. We got to do better.
We're not saying reveal, any kind of specifics of an investigation, but let them know, let this family know that you care.
We reached out to city officials who tell us the DDOT driver was taken off the road immediately to be screened for drugs or alcohol. We are working to learn results of that test. The driver will remain off the road until the investigation is complete. Well, a man wrongfully convicted of murder and arson is suing the city of Detroit. We're talking about the case of Dwayne Williams. Fox 2's Scott Wolchek has been following this all day and joins us live to tell us more. Scott, first and foremost, just tell us about this case.
Yeah, so this case dates all the way back to 2012. August of 2012, that is when this house fire happened and two people inside died. So after a little bit of time, basically this guy, Dwayne Williams, that was kind of targeted, and eventually he ended up getting convicted of a double murder and arson, sentenced to a lifetime behind bars, no opportunity for parole. After, he sent out a bunch of letters and appeals, he served 12 years, and then he found the right people who kind of took a look and said, hey, there's this fire report from the original incident. It's been altered. So the big piece of evidence that was basically covered up about this is this Zippo lighter that was found there. So it was actually a accidental death, and this guy was kind of pinned for the crime. So he's back out of prison now, filing a $100 million suit against the city, Detroit Fire, Detroit Police, all for this kind of big scandal where, yeah, they've got the receipts where this this fire report was covered up and things were altered to make this guy look guilty.
Yeah, and it's really not the best situation to be in when you're in something like this and, you're being wrongfully convicted, but you do have the proof to prove otherwise. And now you're in this situation where you got to go back and forth with law enforcement and whoever, attorneys. And, get yourself off and prove your innocence here, which I can imagine be a stressful situation. When we've seen situations like this occur, when someone's suing the city, how does this typically play out?
That's a great question. I think that it's one of those things where the city's not really going to respond to us and let us know. They don't comment on pending litigation from, me reaching out. So I guess we'll have to kind of see how this happens. I think that they want to have a jury or judge take a look at this and say, hey, you took 12 years off of this guy's life, sending him to prison on this. This was pretty egregious. There's got to be some kind of accountability, some kind of justice for this guy. So whether that's monetary justice or if some of these former officials are going to face any type of jail time, we'll just have to wait and see.
And who else did you talk to today when gathering the details for this story?
I talked to Mr. Williams himself, as well as his attorney, Todd Flood. Mm-hmm. They held a press conference, talked about all this stuff. They had pictures of the evidence. And, it is one of those things. And after talking to Mr. Williams, it's one of those things where to him, the biggest thing is accountability. He said that, his life has changed forever. You can never get back some of those relationships that you lost in prison, and you can never really be the same. So he really just hopes that somebody ends up facing a little bit of time for this.
All right. Well, hopefully he gets his justice. Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you.
Well, a former Louisville, Kentucky police officer convicted in the raid that resulted in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor is sentenced to nearly 3 years in prison. Brett Hankison fired 10 shots during the 2020 raid. While no one was hit by his bullets, a judge said his actions endangered lives. Taylor was killed when officers returned fire after her boyfriend thought intruders were breaking in and fired a single shot, hitting one officer in the leg. Police were executing a no-knock warrant. No drugs or money were found. Taylor's family later received a $12 million settlement. And a Jacksonville, Florida police officer stripped of his duties after a video of a traffic stop turned violent goes viral. The violent arrest captured on body cam. An officer pulled William McNeil Jr. over back in February for driving without his headlights on during the day. Things escalated when McNeil questioned why he was pulled over and refused to get out of his car, locking the door. Moments later, officers are captured on body cam breaking the window, punching McNeil and dragging him out of the car. The sheriff's office says McNeil did not file a complaint right away.
At no time, February to now, did McNeil contact JSO to file a complaint, nor share with the agency the cell phone footage that is circulated on social media. As I said earlier, immediately upon becoming aware of this footage, JSO began a criminal and administrative investigations. The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop. This is extremely important. There are not options. If you disagree, take care of it someplace else, but not on the side of the road.
Officers found a large knife on the driver's side floorboard. McNeil did plead guilty to resisting arrest and driving on a suspended license. Video of his arrest was shared more than 100,000 times as of yesterday. Live at 3, just getting started. Monday marked day 2 of training camp for the Lions in Allen Park. What path ahead? Coach Dan Campbell hopes the team follows this season. That and so much more ahead on Fox 2 Detroit Live. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live. You are looking live down at downtown Detroit. Beautiful day out there. The sky is pretty clear. We can see a couple remnants of clouds, but overall, pretty nice day. It's 80 degrees at 3:13 in the afternoon. And you know, we're in the 80-degree range right now, but it appears that we may be reaching the 90s, mid-90s, come the next few days. Stephanie Mead to tell you all about it.
Hi everybody, Stephanie Mead here, and we've had a really nice day today, and we're going to continue to see a nice day as we head through this evening as well. Refreshing, very comfortable, low humidity levels. Take advantage of it while we have it, because we do see big changes moving forward, especially by the end of the week. Nothing really right now on radar, which is great. So our rain chances over the next 24 to 36 hours remain very, very low. In fact, I don't think we see rain until late Thursday night into Friday. The big story moving forward is going to be the heat, and we already have excessive heat watches, heat advisories, excessive heat warnings just west of us. So we see that bright orange that usually indicates that we have a heat advisory, excessive heat warnings into much of Illinois, including the Chicagoland area, and then those excessive heat warnings closer to Missouri and then areas south. Nothing for us here, which is great, but we still have a ways before we see the heat actually return. Tomorrow's going to be hot, but it's not going to be heat advisory or excessive heat warning warranted. It is going to get toasty for a lot of spots though, just in terms of those feel-like temperatures. So take advantage of today. Lower 80s, mostly sunny. It's going to feel nice, and then low temps tonight, low 60s, feeling very much comfortable. That heat dome is impacting a good part of the U.S. So a lot of locations, especially even further south of us, again into Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, they're experiencing some excessive heat almost. Feel like temperatures well into the triple digits. Our humidity levels are also exceptionally high as well. Not only here across Michigan, but across much of the Plain States and the Midwest. And you notice our humidity levels only going up from Wednesday night and beyond. It's not going to be super comfortable. And it's a really cool phenomena too. The evapotranspiration that's occurring here across the Midwest, it's not the main factor, but it is a factor for sure in terms of those humidity levels. It is moisture released by the corn. And of course, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Indiana are big corn makers here in the U.S. 1 acre of corn gives off 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water per day. So that is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. That is why we're seeing these humidity levels skyrocket. So it's going to lead to a muggier next couple of days, but also help fuel some of the storms we could possibly see by the later half of the week. 89 tomorrow, toasty, feeling like the lower 90s for a lot of spots. Mid 90s by Thursday, feel like temps most likely in the triple digits. And we see a lot of 90s here in the extended forecast. There might be one day of relief, and I'll use that term loosely because we're still in the upper 80s by Friday. Feel like temperatures Sunday, Monday, most likely in the lower 90s too. Precip chances moving forward, they'll be around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, potentially into Sunday. We see a little break Monday with additional rain as we head into next week. Those rain chances could potentially give us some storm chances too. Marginal risk right now across the entire state of Michigan, late Thursday into Friday. The extended forecast looks unsettled, looks warm, looks humid. Overnight lows back to the lower 70s. So again, take advantage of tonight. It's going to look comfy, lower 60s for an overnight low. And then we're back to the 90s by the end of the week into this weekend with storm chances lingering through about Sunday. Hope everyone enjoys their day today.
All right, thank you very much, Stephanie. Well, let's talk about sports, and let's specifically start with the Lions. Another workout for them in Allen Park today, but we found out that the pads won't come out until Friday, but they were still pretty physical today. Dan Miller is here to tell us all about it. Dan, I can't express how excited I am for football season to finally almost be here.
I think a lot of people feel that way with their Saturdays filled up with college football and Sundays filled up by the NFL. And yeah, the Lions were back out there today. The pads will come out on Friday. That's always a big day as these guys get to full tilt hitting out there on the field. But this is called the ramp-up period because the guys are just getting back. You want to make sure that they're doing it right physically and that you don't just throw them out there full speed. But it did get chippy out there today, and there were some guys that you could tell that people are fighting for jobs and fighting for starting positions and fighting for backup roles. So Dan Campbell did have to ask one gentleman to leave practice today, Mo Norris, a backup safety. But look, he's a good player who just got a little physical out there. But come Friday, it's what the coaches are going to be looking for because really for the younger players, that's a big taste for them. when you go from just kind of going through the motions, which they're doing out there, albeit at top speed, to when you really start hitting, that's where you start to see a little bit of separation.
Yeah, and one of the things that's really interesting about the training camp is, like you said, everyone's fighting for their role, right? We have the people who we know are going to be starters. For example, Jared Goff. We know that he's going to be out there. But there's other people who are coming in, or the younger guys, they got to prove that they can handle this thing.
Well, you're fighting for respect. You might be fighting for a job. You might be fighting for a backup job. Whatever it is, there's 90 guys out there right now. When all's said and done, they'll be down to 53 in a 16-man practice squad. So this is what they do for a living. And if you can imagine right now, whatever you do for a living out there or your loved ones do for a living, just imagine going into heated competition every single day, and that in 6 weeks, roughly 50% of those people aren't going to be with the company anymore. It's not easy. And this is a difficult job, and these guys have to earn it. And I think you see that intensity out there as a byproduct of that.
You know, and not only is it, physically draining on these folks, but emotionally as well. I mean, I can't imagine going through all of this and going through the practice and whatnot and fighting for that spot. You don't get it. You're not even a backup. But we know how things can turn around. We saw last season there was quite a few injuries. So, there's room there, right?
There is at times. And the one thing the coaches will tell you is don't count.
Yeah.
Don't look at your position group and say, well, he's going to make it, he's going to make it, he's going to make it. I don't have a chance. Mm-hmm. Because as you talked about, things can happen.
Yeah.
Injuries can happen. And sometimes guys come from off the pace and open up coaches' eyes, and that's how they earn a job. So you just have to go out there and maximize every rep that you get a chance to take part in and hope that you catch the coach's eyes, do the job as best you can. And the one thing you want to do, regardless of what happens, you want to leave there understanding that you did your best. You don't want to leave there thinking, I was tentative, I didn't have my best reps out there. You want to make sure whatever you can do to look like the best football player possible and look like you can help this team in any way, shape, or form, that's what you want to show them.
Yes, 1,000%. Now let's talk about the Tigers. You said yesterday they were going up against the Pirates, which you said was not the best team.
But what else did I say? I said they have Paul Skeens, who's one of the best pitchers in baseball. Pirates are not a good team. Paul Skeens is a great pitcher. And what happened to the Tigers last night? Paul Skeens shut them down for 6 innings. And then the bullpen did the rest for the Pirates. So, look, it's a chance for Detroit to bounce back and get a victory tonight. Last night they ran into a terrific pitcher. It's like teams running into Tarek Skubal. It's tough to find a way to break through, tough to find a way to get runs. Tigers weren't able to do that, so they got to find a way to come back today, try to get one. And interesting series coming up this weekend. They can't be looking ahead to it, but weekend with the Blue Jays coming in. It's two of the best teams in baseball, and we're excited because the game on Friday night will be right here on Fox 2. So Tigers and Pirates again tonight, Tigers and Pirates again tomorrow, but then a 4-game weekend series between the Blue Jays and the Tigers in downtown Detroit starting on Thursday.
And that heat, God, it's going to be hot.
It's going to be really warm out there. Hopefully they'll dodge the storms as well. Yeah, no doubt about it. But they will get the full brunt of that heat and humidity that'll be coming in that Steph just talked about.
All right.
Hey, before you go, can I ask you about what you heard about Anzalone?
Yeah, Alex Anzalone spoke with the media today. Look, he has made it clear through the offseason that he's not happy with his contract. That word has been out there, and he did not deny that today, basically saying he wants to retire a line, and he feels like he has given everything he's got to this organization. He has been a stabilizing force and one of the leaders on this team. He said he was disappointed that a new contract had not been done, but basically really said, you can ask Dan Campbell, you can ask Brad Holmes about that, but it's clear Alex Anzalone, one of the real leaders on this football team, wants to have his contract sweetened up just a bit. We'll see whether or not that happens between now and the beginning of the season. But he certainly indicated this was not going to be a holdout situation, which he's in camp, not practicing right now because of a hamstring injury, but indicated this was not going to interrupt any of his playing time once he's back and healthy.
All right, Dan, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Well, it's an international leadership conference with the goal of uplifting the next generation of leaders. It's all hosted by a fraternity, and one high-ranking member who doubles as a senator joins us later this hour to tell us more about it. Plus, we've got a heartwarming reunion in Detroit as a mother and her newborns come face-to-face with the 2 Detroit fire EMTs who helped deliver them. That and so much more ahead of Fox 2 Detroit Live. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit's Live. I'm your host, Bree Teamer, and it's time for our News Cam segment where we just take a little journey around the newsroom. That's Aaron. His mom has the best cookies, and he brings them every Friday for us. Last week, I think she had like chocolate and like a sugar cookie or something like that. I'll show you next Friday because I will not be here on Friday. I'm on vacation. But let's talk to Brandon Hudson about what he's been working on today.
I mean, I need to figure out where you're going on vacation. That's the question there.
Somewhere nice and tropical and hot.
All right, well, I look forward to seeing the pictures. Well, thank you for coming over. So we're working on a story. There is a town hall on Thursday called Equip the Community, and it's all about helping people in different communities all across Metro Detroit learn how to help people who have alcohol use disorder. So what I figured out is, based on the most recent survey, which was 2023, about 29 million people deal with alcohol use disorder. About 757,000 of those are children ages 12 to 17.
Wow, what?
And so yeah. And so the warning signs include increased drinking and driving, many other things that are associated with the dangers of drinking. So we're working on a story to get the word out about the town hall, and it is going to be on East 6 Mile in Detroit. And they're going to show a movie that's called Broken Vows, and the movie deals with a pastor who preaches one thing about not turning to your vices, but his family has learned that he also is an alcoholic. And so it kind of, adds a relatable element to it. So that's what we're looking into, and the story will be on at 6 o'clock today on Fox 2.
So when it comes to alcohol abuse, how is that different from alcoholism?
It's kind of one and the same. That's one of those things where I'd love to talk with an expert to figure out, what constitutes as alcoholism, what constitutes as alcohol abuse, and what is alcohol use disorder. Now, are these all like one and the same? Are these, 3 different types of, alcohol use or alcohol abuse? So that's one of those things that we'll have to really kind of sit down and talk with a doctor about, or another expert. But, I will say in the story there is a pastor who will be speaking at the town hall, and he shares his story about how he used to deal with, alcohol use when he was 18 years old. He was later diagnosed with severe grief, but at the age of 18 he would turn to tequila, and that was his vice. And
Crazy.
He said
at 18 years old.
18 years old, yeah. And so he said that he turned, as he got older, he learned that his children weren't trusting him, and I think that's what really broke his heart. And to learn that his children weren't trusting him, I think that turned the light on.
Yeah. Sometimes, unfortunately, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. When you're dealing with alcohol use, it's not just the person; it affects everybody.
Right.
So.
All right, Brandon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bree.
All right, let's continue our little journey over here to Jack Nissen. Let me turn the camera around. You guys don't get whiplash or anything like that while you're watching our news cam segment right now. All right, Jack, what do you have for us today?
Hi, Bree.
Hi.
Quick update on the, and we already talked about the Port Huron car theft. It looks like the 16-year-old, who has not been named, has been going to be charged with, among other things, kidnapping. They did drive off in an SUV with a 1-year-old in the back. It was kind of scary.
What?
I know, and this was on Thursday morning, I believe, maybe Friday morning. But it was last week, and the juvenile, not charged as an adult, but there's several felonies awaiting them when they get into court. So not the nicest stuff, but kind of the beginning of that whole journey. I think more interesting to our residents down in Detroit is that council member Santiago Romero, she's from Southwest Detroit. She said that during the council meeting today, they will be working on a truck traffic ordinance, basically telling commercial truck vehicles where they can and can't drive within Detroit. It's kind of a huge problem because there's sort of a funny tension down there. It's a part of the local economy, and there's a lot of business owners that use these things, or maybe driving their truck is their small business. But at the same time, a lot of air quality issues, a lot of public health concerns. It's not like those things don't go quickly down local streets that rumble the homes and vibrate things and kick up a lot of dust. So it's not something you'd see in a lot of other communities. But in Detroit, which is this giant hub next to an international crossing, there is a lot of truck traffic. So after several years of working on this, I think they may actually have something ordinance coming into play, which I believe will be announced in the fall.
In the fall, that's when we gotta wait to get the news, huh?
That's normal. Yeah, it's always about the beginning of it, right?
Right.
So, and my hope is that I'm always. At
I
the
like how you
beginning
ramp that up there.
Yeah, there you go.
Great job. All right, Jack. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bree.
And that's gonna do it for our news cam segment for the day. When we come back, we're talking to a fraternity who's hosting a leadership conference. Pretty cool stuff. You're gonna want to stick around for that. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit's Live. I'm your host, Bree Teamer. Beautiful shot of downtown Detroit. That's what we're looking at right now. 80 degrees outside. 3:34 is the time. All right, well, there is a leadership conference coming to the city of Detroit, and it's hosted by none other than Omega Psi Phi Fraternity. And one of the brothers joins us live now, Marshall Bullock II, who also is a senator of our state. Marshall, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So this huge event is happening over the next couple of days. Tell us all about it.
Well, it's the Dr. Moses C. Norman Senior International Leadership Conference. So brothers are here from all over the world to partake in this conference about leadership and how we grow our fraternity and how we pour into the next generation of leaders. It's really important to showcase the men of Omega because Detroit is instrumental in a lot of powerhouses in Omega come from Detroit. But more importantly, we haven't had an international conference here in Detroit since 1990. And so it was big for us to promote and advocate to bring this conference back to Detroit and have an international segue and show off our city, especially in our mature state right now where we got a lot of things going on, you know, so, and you know, we still showcase the Charles H. Wright Museum, who was a member of Omega Psi Phi, and talk about Robert Milliner and all those famous brothers and who got everybody elected from Coleman Young to Richard Austin. So
awesome. It really shows the power of brotherhood and community really sticking together and what that does for you in the long term. What does it mean to be a part of Omega Psi Phi?
Well, the core principles say it all: manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. And we're entrenched in service. It's all about serving the community. So like one of our events is going to be at Martin Luther King High School. It's going to have mental health, financial literacy. We're going to backpack drive. We got kids coming, families coming, parents coming, food trucks, Secretary of State about people getting their ID. All the resources that a community needs to have so that they can matriculate through the community and not have any issues.
How long did it take to organize something like this? I mean, this is quite a few days of activities and a lot going on.
Well, I've been partaking in calls for 2 years, but
wow.
1 year, you know, almost a year to plan this in particular. Once you secure the convention center and the hotels, then you got to have committees, and we do all that. So we've got a program for young high school men, because we do mentoring here locally with all the 6 local chapters. And so we're going to have a program just for high school young boys. And then the next day we have a STEM program, and we're going to do the science of concussions. And so that's from 6th grade to 12th grade for boys and girls. So they can get a hands-on feeling about engineering and science and try to motivate them moving forward.
So you have the youth portion, but there's also, you know, anyone can attend portion. Is that only open to brothers of the fraternity?
Those segments are open to the general public. Well, we have registered for the young people, but the conference itself is a closed session for us because we got to conduct the business of Omega. And we're doing leadership forums to show the young men, especially the young men still in college or just out of college. We got CEOs and major corporations and things like that who we're giving leadership training. And then we're also doing training about things that don't normally happen when people talk leadership, just about life, whether it's financial literacy, how to do a will and trust for your family, things like that, of that nature, so that it will benefit you not just in the fraternity, in your fraternal order, but it'll benefit you in life.
Yeah, all things that you need to live life, like you just said. So we've got a series of events. You got giveaways, you got backpack giveaways, all kinds of things that are happening right here. Now, I did want to ask you, when we're talking about the youth and the STEM and whatnot, my niece, she's a part of this program that she goes to, where it's hosted by Zeta, one of the sororities. And I think the ultimate goal is to incorporate her into the sorority or whatnot. Is that kind of the goal here with the youth?
I think that some of the organizations, you know, there may be a hope and desire that they choose that organization. So we have, all of the fraternities have male mentoring organizations. We have a couple here, Omega Academy, Lamplighters, things like that. but we're pouring into the community. I'm not really concerned.
You're not out there recruiting.
Yeah, we're not recruiting anybody. It's just life lessons, especially your rites of passage for young men to become men or boys to men, and to set them up for success in college if that's what they choose, or if they choose the military, if they choose to be an entrepreneur, if they choose a trade. We want to set them up to make good decisions and be great people in society.
So we got a graphic for our viewers at home right here. This kind of lists a little bit of everything that's going on. But for our viewers who don't feel like reading that and they just want to listen, how about you tell them where they can find all this information?
You can go to www.detroit2025.com and it'll have all of the things we're doing. It lists all of the places to go downtown. It lists all of the Black-owned businesses. It lists all of our events that's going on, social activities, as well as those that are open to the public. And like we got a special, we're giving a bike giveaway, but we had 2 special bikes made for youth with special needs. And we're delivering those on Thursday also.
That's incredible. I love it so much. Marshall, thank you so much for visiting us here at Fox 2 Detroit.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
What up, though?
Had to throw that in there. All right, well, a heartwarming reunion in Detroit as a mother and her newborns come face to face with the 2 Detroit Fire EMTs who helped deliver them. Fox 2's Ingrid Kelly shows us how this special bond was forged during a life-changing moment nearly 3 weeks ago.
It's a reunion full of double joy. 2 Detroit Fire Department EMTs, Bakari Stanley and Michael Batch, returning to the home they responded to for a 911 call about a woman in labor.
We didn't know what was going on. Mama was screaming. We seen a baby laying there.
At first, these EMTs believed Jessica Johnson's delivery was over, so they rushed to assist the baby.
Clamp and cut the cord.
But then, out of nowhere, the mom yells,
"I gotta push," and we like, "Push? We got one right here."
It's not the first surprise. After months of thinking she was having only 1 baby, Johnson learned a few weeks ago she was having 2, and she thought they would be delivered in a hospital.
They sure did come early.
These 2 emergency responders have not been on the job long and never delivered a baby before.
Looked up, the baby was crowning.
I was a little bit nervous, definitely walking into the situation.
But their training kicked in and these EMTs played their position, helping deliver the second baby.
And she just shot out and just into my partner's hands.
I was very happy that I was there to help out Mom.
Johnson, who has 3 other children, was also happy.
Everything went smooth. Everything went good. The girls are healthy.
Meet Janiyah and Jalea Howard, born July 1st. And after this special delivery earlier this month, the EMTs returned Monday with a special delivery of their own.
We got some stuff in back here. We got some stuff for her. We got a bed that we're going to put up for her and a crib for both of the twin daughters.
The older kids also got toys.
I thank God for it, and I'm just speechless right now. Just speechless.
And as these EMTs wrap up this mission, they say they've learned some critical awareness about themselves.
I learned that I really just enjoy the job and I like helping out people.
The joy and just helping people.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Beautiful story. All right, let's get another check on the weather with Fox 2's meteorologist, Stephanie Meade.
Hi everybody, Stephanie Meade here, and we've had a really nice day today, and we're going to continue to see a nice day as we head through this evening as well. Refreshing, very comfortable, low humidity levels. Take advantage of it while we have it, because we do see big changes moving forward, especially by the end of the week. Nothing really right now on radar, which is great. So our rain chances over the next 24 to 36 hours remain very, very low. In fact, I don't think we see rain until late Thursday night into Friday. The big story moving forward is going to be the heat, and we already have excessive heat watches, heat advisories, excessive heat warnings just west of us. So we see that bright orange that usually indicates that we have a heat advisory, excessive heat warnings into much of Illinois, including the Chicagoland area, and then those excessive heat warnings closer to Missouri and then areas south. Nothing for us here, which is great, but we still have a ways before we see the heat actually return. Tomorrow's going to be hot, but it's not going to be heat advisory or excessive heat warning warranted. It is going to get toasty for a lot of spots though, just in terms of those feel like temperatures. So take advantage of today. Lower 80s, mostly sunny. It's going to feel nice. And then low temps tonight, low 60s, feeling very much comfortable. That heat dome is impacting a good part of the U.S. So a lot of locations, especially even further south of us, again into Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, they're experiencing some excessive heat almost. Feel like temperatures well into the triple digits. Our humidity levels are also exceptionally high as well. Not only here across Michigan, but across much of the Plain States and the Midwest. And you notice our humidity levels only going up from Wednesday night and beyond. It's not going to be super comfortable. And it's a really cool phenomena too. The evapotranspiration that's occurring here across the Midwest, it's not the main factor, but it is a factor for sure in terms of those humidity levels. It is moisture released by the corn. And of course, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Indiana are big corn makers here in the U.S. 1 acre of corn gives off 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water per day. So that is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. That is why we're seeing these humidity levels skyrocket. So it's going to lead to a muggier next couple of days, but also help fuel some of the storms we could possibly see by the later half of the week. 89 tomorrow, toasty, feeling like the lower 90s for a lot of spots. Mid 90s by Thursday, feel like temps most likely in the triple digits. And we see a lot of 90s here in the extended forecast. There might be 1 day of relief, and I'll use that term loosely because we're still in the upper 80s by Friday. Feel like temperatures Sunday, Monday, most likely in the lower 90s too. Precip chances moving forward, they'll be around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, potentially into Sunday. We see a little break Monday with additional rain as we head into next week. Those rain chances could potentially give us some storm chances too. Marginal risk right now across the entire state of Michigan, late Thursday into Friday. The extended forecast looks unsettled, looks warm, looks humid. Overnight lows back to the lower 70s. So again, take advantage of tonight. It's going to look comfy, lower 60s for an overnight low. And then we're back to the 90s by the end of the week into this weekend with storm chances lingering through about Sunday. Hope everyone enjoys their day today.
Well, some sad news from the world of music. Rocker Ozzy Osbourne has died. The Prince of Darkness was 76 years old. No cause of death was given, but his family released a statement saying he was with his family and surrounded by love. Osbourne was a founding member and frontman of the Black Sabbath. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of Black Sabbath in 2006 and as a solo artist in 2024. He also appeared on a reality TV show about his family in the early 2000s. All right, well, continuing with our entertainment headlines, rapper Cash Out will spend the rest of his life in prison. Cash Out, whose real name is John Michael Gibson, was found guilty of running a sex trafficking operation along with his cousin Tyrone Taylor and mother Linda Smith. They were also found guilty of other charges. The judge sentenced Gibson to life in prison plus 70 years. Gibson maintained his innocence to this day. Wow, interesting stuff there. I remember listening to one of his songs when it first came out, and now he is you're gonna see it on your screen a little bit here. That's him right there, sitting right there. And yeah, he was sentenced to life in prison. To laugh for 3 days straight, Detroit's own comic Jay Will is hosting a 3-day comedy special called Willapalooza at One Mic Comedy downtown. And you know what? This guy, he joins us live in studio right now to tell us more about it. Jay Will, welcome to Fox 2 Detroit Live.
Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we get into the event, let's talk about you a little bit. I mean, you're from Detroit, born and raised here. When did you realize you were kind of funny?
Probably elementary school. You know what I'm saying?
That young?
Yeah. So what happened was there was a bully at our school. And
this is going to be good.
This is why I learned, like, okay, you don't necessarily have to fight the bully as long as he doesn't want to be embarrassed by jokes. So I got into some type of roasting battle with somebody in the class, and he befriended me after that, like, because he didn't want me to get on him. So from that point on, I was like, okay, this seems like the way to go. So I just kept roasting people and kept being funny, and that was basically my defense mechanism for the bullies.
Wow,
When I did that, they called me a class clown. And I had to get in the hall.
that's what I got that too.
You want to know something funny? I actually won class clown in middle school.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I can see that.
A lot of people wouldn't know that, but I won class clown in
A
middle
lot
school.
of people watching don't know how silly you really are.
I got that way
A lot
consecutive.
happens behind the scenes.
Yeah, I
Well,
consecutively got it probably for like 12 years.
okay, you ain't have to top me up like that. You ain't have to.
That's what I was trying.
All right, well, you got cosigns from literally so many people. Cat Williams, Chris Rock, The Breakfast Club, so many people. So you were definitely, I mean, you're definitely funny and whatnot. So when it comes to you being out on the stage versus doing like the social media thing, because a lot of people are, you know, social media comedians and they do the skits, which is funny too. What do you think is the biggest difference between the two?
Simply that you can't fix it. Like once it's out, it's out. You know what I'm saying? If I'm on Instagram, I can watch it over and be like, I don't like that, and take that out and make sure it's perfect when I put it on social media. But if I'm on stage, once it's out, ain't no pulling it back. So you gotta really know what you're doing up there, because you can get on the island and it gets scary.
Which one do you like more?
I like stand-up more simply because I haven't really mastered social media like that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I was real good at the skits and all, I would probably like that more, because it'd be easier and I could just make skits every day and get a check. You know, but them dudes is talented. Like it look
They
easy,
really
but
are.
them dudes coming up with that, they come up with so much content and different stuff for you to be entertained with. So, you know, I always tip my hat to them. But stand-up is always gonna be my baby, just because I'm right there with the people and I'm free to just tell you how I feel, and I can do it unapologetically because you came to see me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you could scroll on Instagram and see something you never wanted to see. You know what I'm saying? Because it's for everybody. But if you come and buy a ticket to see me, you coming to see me so I can be myself.
Right. And I feel like there's a different energy that you get too. Because like you said, you're in front of everyone. They came there to see you. So you're feeding off of that. You're up there, you're pumped. On social media, you're just behind the camera and, you know, reacting to people's comments or whatever after the fact. It's a different feeling, I would think.
And you gotta, so social media is also scary because even though you're editing it, you edited it and made it perfect, you still gotta hope that the people like it when you put it out. You know what I'm saying? So you have to know something that's funny and all that. So yeah, it's a craft for sure. So
yeah. All right, so you got a big event coming up where you're going to be up on the stage for 3 days. My goodness.
3 days.
Where are you pulling this energy from? That's insane.
Well, so I was booked on at one mic for my birthday already. So I was just like, this is the perfect opportunity to shoot my special. I got 3 days booked already at a nice venue. Let's just do it. You know what I'm saying? So I took the opportunity to just step out on faith and believe in myself.
Yeah.
You know, got the funding together and now it's going on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we had one mic for 3 days. It's my birthday weekend, so I'm doing a birthday roast on that Thursday with some of the top comedians in the game: Mike Leary, Josh Adams, Ha Davis, Jack Funny,
a little bit of everybody.
Foolish. I mean, some of everybody's gonna be there, so it's gonna be a great show. So that's gonna be hilarious on Thursday, and then Friday, I'm shooting a completely clean special. Like it's called God's Will. Simply showing people where I really came from, my background and things of that sort, growing up in the church and my family upbringing and everything like that. So I wanted to be able to invite my grandma and my mom and everybody to come out and see that. So that's a show it's really for everybody, but it's tailor-made for, you know, my church family, my core family, my mom, the kids, my nieces.
No cussing, none of that. No inappropriate jokes.
Great material though. We're not sacrificing the funny. It's all gonna be hilarious material, but it's just tailor-made for everybody.
Right.
Like it won't offend anybody at all. It's impossible. So I want everybody to be there. And then the last day, that Friday, you might want to put your
That's 18 and up.
put
for
your
sure.
seatbelts on for that one.
18 for up, no church going.
I'm not intentionally trying to offend anybody, but I won't be tiptoeing on any subjects. So, but
ain't no playing it safe.
I'm pretty sure you'll be okay though. I don't want you to feel like if I come, I'm gonna leave. No, you'll be okay. But you will hear something.
You got to know when you come to a comedy show, there's going to be some level of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know, the people know. The people know.
It's nothing worse than what you've heard already.
Right. And this is all happening at One Mic in Detroit. Super cool space. I mean, what do you think about that? The fact that Jess Hilarious commented on it not too long ago, saying that she didn't have a good experience. But I mean,
I look at stuff like this. Like everybody got an ex-girlfriend. So that means that everybody's experience is not going to be the same with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was just hilarious experience. So I'm not about to just follow suit and be like, you know what? Yeah, I don't like him. No, I don't have anything bad to say about him. Every time I've been up there, it's been a great experience. They took great care of me, fed me good, treated me well, paid me good and everything. So I can't say anything bad about the establishment at all, and it's really a big deal to us because it gives us another opportunity to be able to showcase our talents in an actual comedy club. You know what I'm saying? Like she said, it's only one other comedy club, which is the Punchline. You know what I'm saying? Which is family. You know, they're great comedy club.
Yeah.
But I'm not about to bash either one of them. They're both great clubs in the city where we need comedy at, and we appreciate them being there and giving us the opportunity to display, showcase our talents. So it's dope.
Absolutely.
And then for him to put his name on it,
that
gives
was cool
us
too.
another level of stamp of approval. Like, okay, he's at Mike Epps Comedy Club.
Yeah.
We like Mike Epps. I'm sure Mike Epps wouldn't just like anybody in his club.
Yeah.
So, it's
But Mike Epps, he definitely puts on for Detroit. He's got a special connection with us right here in Detroit.
And he's right in Indianapolis, so he could put his club anywhere. But for him to come in downtown Detroit and do it was
we should be honored.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Jay Will, tell our viewers real quick where they can get tickets and whatnot.
Well, the tickets are at One Mic 313, and I also have a link on my page in my bio at Comic J Will on Instagram. So you can also get on there. So
all right, so thank you very much.
Looking forward to seeing everybody all 3 days, hopefully. But if you can't make all three, make two. If you can't make two, make one. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be dope.
Nothing else to do?
Now, even if you got something else to do, don't do that and come see me. Don't do
All right. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't
come see
do that.
Will. Right. All right, that's going to do it for me. Jamie's up next, and I will leave it to her to take you all the way to 5.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday, July 22nd. I'm your host, Jamie Sherrod, and you are watching Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4.
Live from the Fox 2 Newsroom, this is Fox 2 Detroit.
Chaos outside of MGM Casino in downtown Detroit. Now a man is charged with a hate crime. Investigators say he and another man drunkenly assaulted two same-sex couples, then ran away. Fox 2's Robin Murdoch shows us how the victims are reacting.
Watching her lay there on the ground, I thought she was dead 100%.
These pictures show the aftermath of what's being described as an alleged hate crime, a vicious attack outside the MGM Grand Casino in Detroit 2 weekends ago. Celia Houter is still nursing a severe concussion.
When I'm alone, it's very hard, especially at night. I don't know. I guess you would classify that as trauma.
Celia and her wife were with another same-sex couple waiting on the valet at the casino when they say they were approached by two men who were obviously drunk and slinging homophobic slurs. Some of the encounter caught on their cell phone camera.
So why'd you walk up on
All right, he's pretty tough. I'm sorry, whatever she or he is.
I want to say that the reason why he did come to us and try to, start stuff with us is because they were holding hands and we were holding hands.
The verbal assault then escalated, turning into a violent one when one of the suspects, now identified as 26-year-old William Wilson, allegedly began punching Celia over and over, eventually knocking her out. Some 24 stitches needed to sew up her wounds.
I asked for help, and nobody came out to help. After she was already hit, she's laying on the ground bleeding. I'm screaming for help. No help was offered.
That suspect from Texas now facing hate crime and assault charges, but is out on bond. The other man with him at the time remains on the run. The incident scarring the couples both physically and mentally.
We never really thought we would be the people that it would happen to, but you never know. And unfortunately now it has made us to a point where we don't want to go anywhere.
Again, both of those couples are very concerned about the MGM Grand Casino's response to all of this. Now, we did reach out to the casino. They referred us to the Detroit Police Department, who confirmed they are investigating the matter. Reporting from downtown Detroit, I'm Robin Murdoch, Fox 2 News.
Taylor police could use your help locating a gunman after a teenager was killed over the weekend. Officers say the 14-year-old boy was gunned down on Pine Street near the Meyer store on Eureka. It happened around 9 o'clock Saturday night. The Ecor School District identifying the victim as Trey Kimber, who was getting ready to start high school in the fall. The shooting may have stemmed from an ongoing beef between two groups. Taylor police urging anyone who may know anything to speak up. An 11-year-old boy fighting for his life after being shot inside his home on Detroit's west side. Police now looking for the person responsible. The shots rang out overnight Sunday in the area of Brommel and Puritan. Police say a gunman opened fire on the home, hitting the boy several times. So far, no arrests have been made. This is just one of many senseless acts this summer as gun violence rises across the city.
When you go and shoot somebody, you're signing your own death warrant saying, I want to be killed by immediately gun violence, because it's a thing called retaliation. In the street, they call it get their lick back.
At last check, the child was still in the hospital. If you know anything about this shooting here, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. You will remain anonymous. A Detroit man is recovering in the hospital after security video shows him being struck by a DDOT bus. And today his mother is speaking out. 21-year-old Tawan Smith was hit last week near Warren Avenue in Junction. He suffered multiple serious injuries requiring hospitalization. Police say the bus driver is now on leave as the investigation continues. Smith's mother, Shakaya Cooper, is now demanding answers and has hired an attorney.
We trust in the city. We got to do better. This is becoming the city that everybody's been wanting. We got to do better.
We're not saying reveal, any kind of specifics of an investigation, but let them know, let this family know that you care.
We reached out to city officials who tell us the DDOT driver was taken off the road immediately to be screened for drugs or alcohol. We are working to learn the results of that test. The driver will remain off the road until the investigation is complete. A man accused of assaulting a Wayne State University student inside her campus apartment building is now behind bars. Now other students are saying this serves as a reminder to stay vigilant and watch your back. Fox News' Dave Spencer has the story.
Crime happens everywhere, so it's sad.
The Anthony Wayne Drive apartments near Kirby Street and 3rd Avenue are home to roughly 800 Wayne State University students. At around 11 Saturday night, a female student told police she let a stranger inside to use a restroom. Once inside, police say that person lured the victim into a bathroom and tried to close the door, telling her he had a knife and threatened to sexually assault her. She was able to fight him off and convince him to leave. A terrifying ordeal in Detroit that certainly caught the attention of some students on campus.
We walked back from downtown Saturday night and on Woodward, and it was you want to keep your eyes open, This was around midnight.
Other students say they were alerted of the alleged crime by a school email, which included pictures of the suspect and a name he would allegedly use. Even though he is in custody, we are not showing his face as he is yet to have been charged.
We are a public campus, so I wasn't blown away by it.
I was actually doing some research about the person. I thought maybe I was like, oh, I heard the name, or do I know this person maybe?
Sure.
But yeah, it's relief for sure.
They tell me during the summer semester when there are fewer students on campus, they usually take extra precautions.
I don't like to walk around at night anywhere in Detroit.
Yeah.
At least when I'm alone.
Nowadays, yeah, I kind of just avoid being out too late at night.
On Monday afternoon, Wayne State University police confirmed there was an arrest made and the suspect has no ties to the university. Even though an arrest has been made, the case is still considered open and active, meaning if you think you've been victimized by the same person, you are asked to call Wayne State Police. In Detroit, Dave Spencer, Fox 2 News.
2 men headed to federal prison for robbing U.S. mail carriers at gunpoint in Taylor and Northville. Michael Smith Ellis of Detroit and Terrence Tucker of Phoenix were each sentenced to 7 years behind bars. Investigators say they stole Postal Service master keys to break into mailboxes and steal credit cards. Police caught the pair within minutes of the last robbery inside their car. And officers found guns, postal gear, and stolen cards. Federal prosecutors say the men were dangerous and needed to be held accountable. Postal inspectors say anyone who targets mail carriers will be tracked down and prosecuted. 2 people killed in a plane crash in West Michigan. This all happened yesterday afternoon near the Lowell City Airport, right outside of Grand Rapids. The small plane slamming into a storage facility, causing a large fire. No one on the ground was hurt. Today, federal investigators will be on scene to help determine what exactly caused that plane to crash down. Holly residents living near Stiff's Mill Pond raising concerns over their historic mill pond and dam.
I like it because of the water lilies, but if the pond is gone, the water lilies will die.
Authorities will be lowering water levels down 6 inches a day. The Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy says it's necessary for repairs and to help lower the risk of the dam failing.
Unauthorized work that was performed in 2021, which actually made a bad situation worse. There's been no significant progress towards long-term safety of the dam.
The village attorney filed a temporary restraining order to give them more time to decide on the next steps. That request, though, was denied. A family in Warren needs your help. They recently lost everything in a house fire, including all the new things they needed for their new baby.
I left at 3:30 to get to work. I have to be to work at 4 a.m. So by the time 6:30 came, I was receiving a phone call that my house was on fire.
Sad situation here. Latricia Jones says 2 family members got out, but her 2 daughters, ages 16 and 25, were trapped in the basement. Firefighters were able to get the younger sister out through a window, but the older one, who's 9 months pregnant, could not fit. So crews had to come back through the door and create a pathway out for her.
Glass in her feet were burnt, but when I took her to the hospital, they got all of the glass out and they kept her for 24 hours for a fetal watch for the smoke ventilation. But she's healthy. My grandbaby is healthy.
Incredible work by first responders there. Of course, if you'd like to help the family get back on their feet, we do have more information at fox2detroit.com. Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4 is just getting started. The Lions take to the field for another day of training camp as they look to improve on last season and reach their ultimate goal. We'll have more from Allen Park straight ahead. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4. It is 4:13 right now as we take a live look over the city. 80 degrees out there. We have mostly clear skies. It's another beautiful day. Enjoy this while we have it because it's going to heat up after this. We'll check in with our meteorologist right after this story. Everyone is excited for the return of Lions football, but few are quite as excited as these four-legged Lions fans. Take a look at them. Aren't they cute? The team's Instagram page sharing this video of a bunch of adoptable dogs training for Gotcha Day, the third annual adoption event held at Detroit Lions training camp. The official Adopt-a-thon is going to be held 1 week from today. Oh, they're so adorable. I'm sure they will have no problem finding their forever homes. Well, another workout for the Lions in Allen Park today. Pads won't come out until Friday, but they were certainly physical today. Jennifer Hammond has the story for us.
It's only day 3 of training camp, but the defense already appears to be in mid-season form with the chippiest practice to date that even saw Mo Norris get kicked out.
You just got to toe the line, man, and figure out all the other stuff later. You know what I'm saying? We got violence right now. Just figure out how to be violent, and after that, I'll say it like this. I'd rather tell you slow down than giddy up, you know?
We have little chippy practices and stuff. Yeah, we got to know the fine line, but going by that fine line is what makes you great. That's what makes the good teams greater.
That's what makes us so great. I think, we not slowing down or going slow. We intense all the way until the touch of the play. It's talking back and forth. We get each other going, but we make plays and defense make plays. So it's just back and forth. We're just trying to get each other better and be ready for September 7th.
With both starting and backup jobs already on the line, it's evident that the compete level is amping up daily. Although J-Mo wasn't yet willing to say if one unit is ahead of the other.
I don't really know. We just in day 3 right now, so hopefully, you know, we could be at the same point and just keep getting each other better. And by the time the game comes, you know, nobody can stop us on either side of the ball.
One thing is for certain, with the fiery Kelvin Shepard now running the D, things already feel different.
It's a lot more expectation because with AG was here, we were still in that development. Not want to say development, but in that stage of getting guys right. But now I feel like there's a lot of things that we know what to expect, and not even with the coaches, but Shep is putting a lot on the players to make calls and understand what's going on in certain situations.
At the Meyer Performance Center, Jennifer Hammond, Fox 2 Sports.
Well, coming up, it's a big operation to make kids have everything they need to start the new school year. We'll tell you all about it after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4. This is a story that's getting a lot of conversation surrounding it. Pumpkin spice fans are marking their calendars. Yeah. Even though it may still be the middle of summer, Starbucks is getting ready for fall already. That means the return of the PSL. The coffee giant announcing the pumpkin spice latte will be available starting Monday, August 26th. The PSL is the company's most popular seasonal drink. Other fan favorites set to return include the pumpkin cream cold brew, iced pumpkin cream chai, and pecan crunch oat milk latte. A lot of good fall drinks, but we want to wait until it's actually fall to enjoy them.
Yeah, I don't like this one bit.
Yeah, my guess is the summer drinks aren't selling too well, so they're trying to get a head start on the fall drinks. But let us enjoy summer, Starbucks. All right, let's check in with Stephanie Mead for a look at the forecast.
Hi everybody, Stephanie Mead here, and we've had a really nice day today, and we're going to continue to see a nice day as we head through this evening as well. Refreshing, very comfortable, low humidity levels. Take advantage of it while we have it, because we do see big changes moving forward, especially by the end of the week. Nothing really right now on radar, which is great. So our rain chances over the next 24 to 36 hours remain very, very low. In fact, I don't think we see rain until late Thursday night into Friday. The big story moving forward is going to be the heat, and we already have excessive heat watches, heat advisories, excessive heat warnings just west of us. So we see that bright orange that usually indicates that we have a heat advisory, excessive heat warnings into much of Illinois, including the Chicagoland area, and then those excessive heat warnings closer to Missouri and then areas south. Nothing for us here, which is great, but we still have a ways before we see the heat actually return. Tomorrow's going to be hot, but it's not going to be heat advisory or excessive heat warning warranted. It is going to get toasty for a lot of spots, though, just in terms of those feel-like temperatures. So take advantage of today. Lower 80s, mostly sunny. It's going to feel nice, and then low temps tonight, low 60s, feeling very much comfortable. That heat dome is impacting a good part of the U.S. So a lot of locations, especially even further south of us, again into Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, they're experiencing some excessive heat almost. Feel like temperatures well into the triple digits. Our humidity levels are also exceptionally high as well. Not only here across Michigan, but across much of the Plain States and the Midwest. And you notice our humidity levels only going up from Wednesday night and beyond. It's not going to be super comfortable. And it's a really cool phenomena too. The evapotranspiration that's occurring here across the Midwest, it's not the main factor, but it is a factor for sure in terms of those humidity levels. It is moisture released by the corn. And of course, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Indiana are big corn makers here in the U.S. 1 acre of corn gives off 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water per day. So that is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. That is why we're seeing these humidity levels skyrocket. So it's going to lead to a muggier next couple of days, but also help fuel some of the storms we could possibly see by the later half of the week. 89 tomorrow, toasty, feeling like the lower 90s for a lot of spots. Mid 90s by Thursday, feel like temps most likely in the triple digits. And we see a lot of 90s here in the extended forecast. There might be one day of relief, and I'll use that term loosely because we're still in the upper 80s by Friday. Feel like temperatures Sunday, Monday, most likely in the lower 90s too. Precip chances moving forward, they'll be around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, potentially into Sunday. We see a little break Monday with additional rain as we head into next week. Those rain chances could potentially give us some storm chances too. Marginal risk right now across the entire state of Michigan, late Thursday into Friday. The extended forecast looks unsettled, looks warm, looks humid. Overnight lows back to the lower 70s. So again, take advantage of tonight. It's going to look comfy, lower 60s for an overnight low. And then we're back to the 90s by the end of the week into this weekend with storm chances lingering through about Sunday. Hope everyone enjoys their day today.
Thank you, Steph. Well, a Metro Detroit nonprofit helping kids get the essential school supplies they need to start the new school year. It's all part of the annual Operation Backpack campaign. And joining me now is Aubrey McFarland. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Tell us about Operation Backpack and how it got started.
Operation Backpack has been in existence for many decades through Volunteers of America across the country, and we operate it here in Michigan as well through our organization. Our goal this year was to serve 2,000 students, and we are lucky enough that we're going to be able to serve 2,500 students this year.
Wow, 500 more than you anticipated. That's incredible. This year's event is Backpack for You at the Detroit Zoo. What can people expect there?
So if you have signed up to get a backpack, you will get a reserved time slot to show up at the zoo where you can get your backpack complete with 2 zoo tickets and a choice to enter the zoo at your leisure. It can be that day or any other time. And our goal really is to create a time where families can engage and have a great time at the zoo. They can also get free haircuts while they're there.
Wow.
So it'll be a really special event where you're able to pick up your backpack and be ready to go for the school year.
That's amazing. What made you choose the Detroit Zoo for the location this year?
So we have a wonderful head of development who decided that we really needed to make this a fun event rather than just deliver the backpacks one-on-one, although the gift is great, to really accentuate that by offering these great tickets to the zoo and having a fun day there as well.
Amazing. And I mean, 2,500 students you're planning on serving. Is there a way that the community can still help you with serving these kids here?
We are still taking donations. We are taking donations for full backpacks, for pieces of backpacks, parts of backpacks. We are taking donations for monetary support and sponsors for the event. We also have room for volunteers. So if you want to come and stuff backpacks or even deliver some of the backpacks, you're welcome to contact us and we will get you in touch with the right folks to do that.
All right. Plenty of ways they can help out. They can donate the backpacks. They can come and help you stuff the backpacks. A lot of options for them there. As far as the families, do they need to sign up up ahead of time to participate in this?
Yes, families have signed up ahead of time. They're already registered. We also give to a number of different school districts. So Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb ISD school districts will be getting 300 backpacks each. And of course, we provide veterans families that we serve backpacks, as well as our families at our affordable housing sites.
And talk about the need and the importance of having those necessary school supplies to succeed during the school year.
The need is really tremendous. If you think about the confidence that it can bring to be able to walk into school knowing that you have all of the supplies necessary to do your work versus walking in not knowing, not having the scissors or the crayons or the notebooks really puts an undue pressure on kids who are headed into school. So our goal is to make them feel complete and confident that day while they're walking in with a beautiful new backpack and all of the supplies as well.
Amazing. What are the ages that you're catering to for this?
We will serve anyone between the ages of 0 and 18 or anyone who's in school needing a backpack.
Right. And this is one of the many initiatives of Volunteers of America. What other ways do you help the community?
Absolutely. We are one of the largest veteran service providers across the state. We help veterans find employment, housing, and we have a suicide prevention program for active duty military and veterans as well. We provide affordable housing for seniors, people with disabilities, and children. And we additionally have thrift stores across the state, and every dollar of profit goes to benefit all of those services that I mentioned.
Wow, so much that you do for the community. For the Backpacks for You event at the Detroit Zoo, you can find more information at voami.org/Operation Backpack. Aubrey, really quickly before we leave, tell us, what do you love most about what you do here?
I love the impact that we have on communities. We are an organization who, if there is a community need, we will work to try and step in and fill that gap in the community.
Thank you so much for all that you do, including Volunteers of America. And thank you for joining us today, Aubrey. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Well, a bipartisan resolution to release the Epstein files won't be getting a vote on Capitol Hill, at least for now. We'll tell you what's holding things up coming up after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4. Your time right now is 4:29 as we take another live look outside. Belle Isle off in the distance there. A great day to visit the Isle because it's 80 degrees out there. Nice and comfortable before we get a little uncomfortable tomorrow. Well, following intense public pressure, President Donald Trump called for grand jury transcripts related to Jeffrey Epstein to be released. But as Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, those records might disappoint.
Whether the president likes it or not, public interest in the Jeffrey Epstein scandal is not going away. Now he's trying to appease critics who think he may be involved by ordering his Department of Justice to ask a federal judge to unseal grand jury transcripts that led to the accused child sex trafficker's arrest.
Grand jury information is narrowly tailored by prosecutors only to provide sufficient evidence to result in an indictment.
Epstein's former lawyer wants the transcripts released, but says what the public is looking for, such as a client list, is not in there. Instead, he thinks investigators should be talking to Epstein's former girlfriend and confidant, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She is the Rosetta Stone. She knows everything. She arranged every single trip. If she were just given use immunity, she could be compelled to testify. I'm told that she actually would be willing to testify.
Earlier this month, the DOJ and FBI revealed they have not found a client list or evidence that Epstein was murdered. President Trump is now calling the whole thing a scam perpetuated by Democrats.
This is his making. He was president when Epstein got indicted for these charges and went to prison. He was president when Epstein committed suicide.
Ghislaine Maxwell is currently appealing her child sex trafficking conviction and sentence to the Supreme Court. In Washington, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
All right, Roop Raj is joining us now. And Roop, talk about why there's a big push to get those files released in the first place.
You know, it's so interesting because this has been something that's been going on for so many years. Democrats, Republicans, all have, I guess you could say, some people that could be or could not be involved, but there's a dubious light over the entire Epstein case. And so many politicians, of course, related to this case in some way. And whether or not they want to admit it or not, there are people out there who say, wait a minute here, who knew Epstein and who knew Ghislaine Maxwell, this woman? Now, here's what we know right now. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison serving a 20-year sentence for essentially helping Jeffrey Epstein by picking out young girls and soliciting them and then getting them into the Epstein circle and exploiting them. So she's in prison right now. But the Justice Department, the number 2 in the Justice Department, says, hey, we got to find her, bring her out of prison and talk to her and find out what she knows. And also we need to look at the grand jury testimony that's been sealed for a little while now and unseal it and look at what it has to say. Now, I'm talking to a couple of attorneys, both in Washington and here in Detroit, who tell me, don't get your hopes out. You heard Rebecca Castor's package there. She basically said in the package, you're not going to see a lot come out of these unsealed files. And the reason is because they don't believe there's an actual client list that's hidden in there. They don't believe that at all. However, what is in there could be damning to some people. And there are those who suspect that high-profile people could be somehow involved with some of the grand jury transcripts and what comes out of it. So Pam Bondi, who you see here, is saying, all right, let's work with the second in the Justice Department to get Ghislaine Maxwell on the record to talk about what she knew and what could be in this, and let's get it all out in the open. Obviously, Mr. Trump, the president, upset, basically calling the followers of his, the MAGA followers who say it's time to release it, he called them weaklings for wanting to see this stuff. So insulting his own base, obviously taking a defensive posture and very angry about how much energy and how much concentration is being put on this topic. So we'll be watching carefully. I can't pretend to guess what's in there, but everyone I'm talking to right now, I can tell you, my friend Jamie, they tell me, don't get your hopes high, don't hold your breath, no client list here, but certainly not exactly the best details in there either.
I mean, if it is released, would that change anything? Could we see anything come from this? Any ramifications or anything like that?
Well, it depends on who's hiding what, right? If there's some people in there that are high profile that and their names are in there that could tip the hat on some of the other evidence that people are seeing and say, hey, see, you were friends with him or you were involved with this. Look, you know, let's just be honest with the president himself says he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein, but they kind of broke off their friendship. I think somewhere around 2004, around that time, but he was friends with Epstein beforehand. There was that big letter that everyone's talking about in the 50th birthday letter, in which it's alleged that President Trump wrote a letter. It's alleged that he drew a picture of a naked woman and said, may you have more secrets in the years to come. Was that actually true? The president says no, and he's suing the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch for this. At the same time, the Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch are saying, you know what? This is something that we are standing by and we believe is indeed true. So whether or not that letter is accurate or not, there are so many pieces and parts to this, Jamie. But at the end of the day, the more information you have, the more clear the story becomes. And that's what they're looking to do.
Everybody wants clarity.
Yeah.
Well, the Trump administration's battle with Harvard continues. They were in court yesterday and things certainly escalated. Talk about what happened there.
Well, look at this. You got $2.6 billion dangling over Harvard University. That's research funding, right, from the feds. Every university, for the most part, has some kind of a grant that comes from federal funding. That's been very clear from the beginning. This is the nation's oldest university, the first university ever in America. And Harvard University, for years, has depended on federal funding so they could do what they wanted to do. Then this happened. All of the fighting a world away between Israel and Gaza and everything that was happening there. And all of a sudden, the protests started. And the Trump administration said, look, Harvard, you're being anti-Semitic. And Harvard said, no, this is a freedom of expression issue. People are protesting. We're not anti-Semitic. He said, wait a minute, you're not only anti-Semitic. He said, he went further, Mr. Trump did. He says, you're anti-American, and I'm going to hold this federal funding over your head until you kind of do your teachings or run your university the way the Trump doctrine should be instituted, which is to be a little more, less politically correct and more pro-Israel, pro-Jewish. So this whole thing is really hanging in the balance right now. But you know what, Jamie? $2.6 billion of federal funding is a lot of money.
A lot.
The Harvard University folks are saying, how does it help fight anti-Semitism by taking money away from cancer research and helping veterans? That's where some of this grant money is going. So an interesting one that we're going to keep watching.
Yeah, and it looks like some reports are saying that the judge seems to be leaning more in favor of the university. But of course, we'll have to wait until everything's all said and done and plays out to see what happens here.
Yeah, you're right about that, Jamie. And, you know, these judges, once they make a decision, this administration is known to, what do? They come up with their fists swinging, and they're going to try to fight it. And that fight does continue all the way to the Supreme Court often. So we'll see how this one pans out.
We shall see. All right, what's happening on the Pulse tonight, Roop?
We have a great guest list today. So the fentanyl crisis obviously was one that has been fought for so many years. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, no one wants to see young people killed by fentanyl. So much of it coming from the southern border. And because it's been sealed up, and President Trump just signed last week in the White House some legislation to kind of make it harder for that stuff to come over the border. We have some moms and dads whose kids have been killed because of fentanyl right here from Metro Detroit. They're going to be on the show. Then we have Essie Cupp of Battleground and of CNN. She's coming on our show tonight to talk about how the border policy could be a little bit better. But she's also, though, Jamie, going to talk about the Epstein files because she's been digging into her heels into that as well.
All right, looking forward to her perspective and the conversation tonight on The Pulse at 11:30. And you can also catch that every weekday night and watch the replay right here on Fox Local.
Can we just quickly?
Yes. Okay, let me
Jamie,
unlock it.
Can you unlock it? So Jamie said my grandmother watches Fox, this show all the time.
Long-time Fox watcher.
2, long-time Fox 2 viewer. And she's looking up a picture, Jamie was, and she's like, you got to see this. You got to see this. This picture is probably from
Can we show it, Tom?
2000 when?
This is from 2018.
2018.
2018.
Here, let's get it close to the camera. There we go. Whoa. Oh, wait, that way. There you go. So we keep going back and forth. We're playing camera tag. All right, you can't see it. There's me.
Wait, there we go.
Me and Grandma from 2018. So that was 8 years ago.
Wow.
It's her
7 years
birthday
ago. Today. So happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday,
Sorry
Grandma.
if this is hurting your eyes, viewers, but we have to show it.
We are so proud of Jamie, by the way, and we love her here. So, Grandma, you did a nice job.
Thanks, Grandma. Gonna keep this forever.
She's all right.
Thanks, Tom. And thank you, Root, for this as well. We'll see you tonight at 11:30. Well, we'll see you at 5 before then, but don't miss the Pulse, guys. Yeah, you do have to go. Bye. Thank you. All right. Well, since last February, House Republicans report they have been looking for fraud, waste, and abuse in current state spending. The Democrats wonder if there's another reason why the GOP hasn't voted on a new spending plan. Fox 2's Tim Scubit looks into the delay.
Governor Gretchen Whitmer released her new budget on February the 7th, and the clock started ticking. But the House Republican Speaker Matt Hall did not immediately work on her budget, claiming he needed more time to find waste, fraud, and abuse in that budget first. But some are wondering exactly how long does it take to find abuses? 103 days after the budget was first released, the Republican chair of the House Budget Committee was still looking for it.
Honestly, I think there's a lot of waste in state government.
That was on May the 16th. 63 days after she spoke, there was the Republican vice chair of the Budget Committee still talking about, well, you guessed it, waste, fraud, and abuse.
I have lobbyists, great people. There are a handful of great lobbyists in Michigan and Lansing, and they are literally sneaking into my office. Sneaking into my office and telling me where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. We are still in the process of doing our due diligence. We are going through this budget line item by line item.
And that's why he explains the Republicans have not adopted the governor's new budget as of yet. But this former Democratic member of the House Budget Panel argues she's seen this movie before from Mr. Maddock.
He's been harping about that for the past 7 years, but he still has trouble showing us real-world examples.
And she thinks the Republicans are refusing to vote on the governor's budget because they don't have the votes to pass the one that they want. So what's really going on here?
I wouldn't be surprised if they end up shutting the government down. Matt Hall said as much, back in March.
Speaker Hall accuses the Democrats of wanting to shut down the government, which is why he says his party passed an emergency budget earlier this year. Meanwhile, that budget clock still ticking away, 160-plus days since she introduced it, and still no vote by the House Republicans on what she's proposing. Stay tuned. In Lansing, Tim Skubic, Fox 2 News.
Well, a bit of good news. Crews in Texas making a huge announcement over the weekend that nearly 100 people missing from those deadly floods have been found safe. A handful of people are still unaccounted for. And today, a meeting is being held in Kerr County for those affected. It all comes as officials continue to face scrutiny over their initial response to the flooding. This week, a special legislative session is being held to discuss improving the state's response system. Climate activists rallied Monday, blaming federal cuts. However, the National Weather Service office that's responsible for the region has defended its response, saying it had extra staff on duty the night of the storms. The July 4th floods killed more than 100 people, many of them children. All right, time now for another check of that forecast.
Hi everybody, Stephanie Mead here, and we've had a really nice day today, and we're going to continue to see a nice day as we head through this evening as well. Refreshing, very comfortable, low humidity levels. Take advantage of it while we have it, because we do see big changes moving forward, especially by the end of the week. Nothing really right now on radar, which is great. So our rain chances over the next 24 to 36 hours remain very, very low. In fact, I don't think we see rain until late Thursday night into Friday. The big story moving forward is going to be the heat, and we already have excessive heat watches, heat advisories, excessive heat warnings just west of us. So we see that bright orange that usually indicates that we have a heat advisory, excessive heat warnings into much of Illinois, including the Chicagoland area, and then those excessive heat warnings closer to Missouri and then areas south. Nothing for us here, which is great, but we still have a ways before we see the heat actually return. Tomorrow's going to be hot, but it's not going to be heat advisory or excessive heat warning warranted. It is going to get toasty for a lot of spots, though, just in terms of those feel-like temperatures. So take advantage of today. Lower 80s, mostly sunny. It's going to feel nice, and then low temps tonight, low 60s, feeling very much comfortable. That heat dome is impacting a good part of the U.S. So a lot of locations, especially even further south of us, again into Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, they're experiencing some excessive heat almost. Feel like temperatures well into the triple digits. Our humidity levels are also exceptionally high as well. Not only here across Michigan, but across much of the Plain States and the Midwest. And you notice our humidity levels only going up from Wednesday night and beyond. It's not going to be super comfortable. And it's a really cool phenomena too. The evapotranspiration that's occurring here across the Midwest, it's not the main factor, but it is a factor for sure in terms of those humidity levels. It is moisture released by the corn. And of course, Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Indiana are big corn makers here in the U.S. 1 acre of corn gives off 3,000 to 4,000 gallons of water per day. So that is a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. That is why we're seeing these humidity levels skyrocket. So it's going to lead to a muggier next couple of days, but also help fuel some of the storms we could possibly see by the later half of the week. 89 tomorrow, toasty, feeling like the lower 90s for a lot of spots. Mid 90s by Thursday, feel like temps most likely in the triple digits. And we see a lot of 90s here in the extended forecast. There might be one day of relief, and I'll use that term loosely because we're still in the upper 80s by Friday. Feel like temperatures Sunday, Monday, most likely in the lower 90s too. Precip chances moving forward, they'll be around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, potentially into Sunday. We see a little break Monday with additional rain as we head into next week. Those rain chances could potentially give us some storm chances too. Marginal risk right now across the entire state of Michigan, late Thursday into Friday. The extended forecast looks unsettled, looks warm, looks humid. Overnight lows back to the lower 70s. So again, take advantage of tonight. It's going to look comfy, lower 60s for an overnight low. And then we're back to the 90s by the end of the week into this weekend with storm chances lingering through about Sunday. Hope everyone enjoys their day today.
Well, a heartwarming reunion as a mother and her newborns come face to face with the 2 Detroit Fire EMTs who helped deliver them. Fox News' Ingrid Kelly shows us how this special bond was forged during a life-changing moment.
It's a reunion full of double joy. 2 Detroit Fire Department EMTs, Bakari Stanley and Michael Batch, returning to the home they responded to for a 911 call about a woman in labor.
We didn't know what was going on. Mama was screaming. We seen a baby laying there.
At first, these EMTs believed Jessica Johnson's delivery was over, so they rushed to assist the baby.
Clamp and cut the cord.
But then, out of nowhere, the mom yells,
"I got to push," and we like, "Push? We got one right here."
It's not the first surprise. After months of thinking she was having only one baby, Johnson learned a few weeks ago she was having 2, and she thought they would be delivered in a hospital.
They sure did come early.
These 2 emergency responders have not been on the job long and never delivered a baby before.
Looked up, the baby was crowning.
I was a little bit nervous, definitely walking into the situation.
But their training kicked in and these EMTs played their position, helping deliver the second baby.
And she just shot out and just into my partner's hands.
I was very happy that I was there to help out Mom.
Johnson, who has 3 other children, was also happy.
Everything went smooth. Everything went good. The girls are healthy.
Meet Janiyah and Jalea Howard, born July 1st. And after this special delivery earlier this month, the EMTs returned Monday with a special delivery of their own.
We got some stuff in back here. We got some stuff for her. We got a bed that we're going to put up for her and a crib for both of the twin daughters.
The older kids also got toys.
I thank God for it, and I'm just speechless right now. Just speechless.
And as these EMTs wrap up this mission, they say they've learned some critical awareness about themselves.
I learned that I really just enjoy the job and I like helping out people.
The joy and just helping people.
In Detroit, Ingrid Kelly, Fox 2 News.
Oh, what a wonderful surprise and a beautiful story there. Thank you, Ingrid. Oh, feelings of sadness today in Hollywood following the death of beloved Cosby kid Malcolm-Jamal Warner, also known as Theo. What led up to his death? Coming up. We'll be right back. Some sad news from the world of music. Rocker Ozzy Osbourne has died at the age of 76. The Black Sabbath legend has been battling health issues in recent years. He was suffering from Parkinson's disease, but underwent a strict training program in order to be able to headline a tribute show in his honor back on July 5th. Ozzy is best known for his songs Crazy Train and Mama, I'm Coming Home. He also appeared on a reality TV show about his family in the early 2000s. Ozzy's family says he was surrounded by love right up until the end. Well, shocking news in the entertainment world. Actor and Cosby Show star Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died. Investigators
strong hate the weak.
Actor, director, producer, and musician Malcolm-Jamal Warner has passed away. According to the AP, Costa Rican authorities report Warner drowned Sunday afternoon while swimming. Warner rose to fame on The Cosby Show, playing his Emmy-nominated role as Theo Huxtable from 1984 to 1992. Warner built a career in front of and behind the camera. In 2011, he produced, directed, and starred in the BET original series Read Between the Lines, opposite Tracy Ellis Ross. Among other TV roles over the years, he joined Cuba Gooding Jr. on FX's American crime story The People vs. O.J. Simpson, and was part of ABC's drama series 10 Days in the Valley with Kira Sedgwick.
I am aware. Good talk.
He also starred on Fox's medical drama The Resident, originally cast for a 3-episode arc. By the end of season 1, he became a series regular as A.J. Austin, a.k.a. The Raptor. It was one of the many shows he directed episodes of. Malcolm-Jamal was on Fox's courtroom anthology series Accused, and most recently joined the team of Fox's Alert Missing Persons Unit.
Cage bird. Sings.
His film work included his spoken word short film, You Can't Hear Me, and Warner Brothers Pictures' Fool's Gold with Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. On the stage, Warner performed off-Broadway and shared his passion for music. He was a poet and bass player, and his jazz-funk band performed in major jazz festivals. In 2015, he won his first Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance as a featured performer. He received his second Grammy nomination for his 4th album in 2022, earning the inaugural Best Spoken Word Poetry album. In addition, Warner hosted a podcast, Not All Hood, exploring different aspects of his life and interests. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was 54 years old. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Brandon Hudson joining us now. And Brandon, I was in the newsroom at my desk. Lauren Edwards and we were texting about something totally different. And she randomly texted me, Theo Huxtable, with all these exclamation points. And it was so random.
Yeah.
I thought it was like an inside joke of some sorts until I got on my phone like 30 minutes later. And I saw the reason she sent that. And it was just, I mean, everyone's devastated by this loss, especially if you grew up watching The Cosby Show. It really is sad to hear, especially with him being just 54 years old and on family vacation. What was your reaction when you heard the news?
It was heartbreaking. You know, I'm not sure if I was in the newsroom when it happened, but you know, I was close by, and I remember hearing the people talking about it in the newsroom and hearing that Malcolm-Jamal Warner had passed. And, you know, the crazy thing about this was I was watching an episode of Detroiters. And I think it was the second episode in season 1. He was on the episode and just watched him. And, you know, I like you, I grew up watching Malcolm-Jamal Warner. And what's crazy is he was one of those actors who we kind of watched growing up, you know, in front of the camera, from being Theo Huxtable to, you know, being in The Resident, Malcolm and Eddie, a lot of different shows that he was a part of. But, you know, a lot of people are just now learning about the other facets of his talents, you know, being a musician, a Grammy Award-winning musician at that. You were talking about he was a poet as well. So this was one that definitely, it stings a bit because you hate to hear it. This reminds me of the young woman from Glee.
Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of her name.
And how she was out with her son, and she also drowned. And that was a tough one as well, because just like Malcolm-Jamal Warner, she also grew up in front of the camera, and we watched her grow up from being on shows like Family Matters and, you know, on from there up to Glee. But, you know, he definitely made an impact. And he was definitely one of the first young African-American actors who someone like myself could identify with and during the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, and really quickly, that former Glee star who passed and drowned, that was Naya Rivera.
Yes.
Was her name. But back to Theo, Malcolm, you said that, you looked up to him.
Yeah.
A lot of the women, that was their TV crush.
It was.
Handsome
It
dude
was.
there,
Yeah.
and pretty much a lot of people tune in to the Cosby Show. A lot of women just to see smooth Theo. He was very smooth in the TV show
Right.
as well. And went on to do so many great things. A lot of celebrities who've worked with him, they're pouring in those tributes. We know Morris Chestnut, Sherry Shepherd, Angela Bassett posted a heartfelt tribute to him, saying, "When a special soul like Malcolm-Jamal Warner leaves us far too soon, words fail to adequately describe the unimaginable grief." And she talked about him being a gifted actor, bass player, poet, and whatnot, and just how big of a loss this was, not just for the Hollywood community, but the Black community and so many people who watched and loved him. So prayers out to his family.
For sure.
Definitely gone too soon.
Definitely.
But thanks for joining us to share your reaction,
Hey,
Brandon.
anytime. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And we'll look at this one last time. Malcolm-Jamal Warner passed away of an accidental drowning in Costa Rica while vacationing with his family, 54 years young. We will continue to follow this here on Fox 2 News, any updates of that drowning. Thanks, Brandon.
More people out there from World War II, Korea, and Vietnam that have these stories, and they need to be told so we don't forget their service that they did.
And finally today, that is why a photographer in Nevada has set out on a mission to capture 250 veterans' portraits ahead of the 250th anniversary of American independence. Michael Conrad, who's been in the business for 35 years now, hopes to have a full gallery of this project by the time 4th of July rolls around next year.
That's really cool.
It's incredible. He also plans to have a biography of each veteran so people can learn more about them. Just an incredible tribute to the people who risked their lives and served. Love this story so much. All right, that's all for us here on Fox 2 Detroit Live at 4. Thank you for joining us, but don't go anywhere. Fox 2 News at 5 is next. Have a great day.